Telling stories through movements without using words became my passion, and I'll tell you why. For 34 years, the Royal Danish Ballet became my home in Copenhagen until 2016, as I retired when I turned 40. Since my promotion to Principal Dancer in 2001, I was a leading ballerina and performed the classical repertoire in ballets like Swan Lake and Giselle. But why spending 34 years doing the same thing over and over again? How could I stay inspired in the same workplace for so many years? One answer: ballet. Ballet became my language in which I could express myself and my feelings. To succeed in anything, I think you have to realize there's no way out. If you feel there's a better way for you to express yourself, do that instead. My way became through body language. To be honest, standing here today is a very big challenge and foreign territory to me. Today is the first time I use my voice and reach you, the audience who doesn't necessarily know about ballet, and communicate my love for this art form. In Denmark, we have a strong tradition of story ballets, which is different from abstract ballets. And this is because of the ballet master and choreographer August Bournonville, who lived in the 1800s. Many generations of dancers before me created a strong sensation of building characters on stage. And since I was 6 years old, I performed and danced in this repertoire, sometimes 2 or 3 times a week. This became my art school, and since then I got a strong desire of preserving this part of Danish culture and give life to these old ballets. I'm now one of 10 experts to teach professional dancers worldwide in Bournonville style. But it wasn't written in the skies that I should become a dancer. In fact, my dream was to become a farmer. But I didn't know that I have talent for moving, and especially coordinating my movements to the music became very important to me, and also let the concentration fill me up so that I forgot time and space. But my teenage years were not outstanding. I had let myself go into dark thoughts, and at the same time I got a teacher who only focused on basic ballet technique. This was close to killing my interest in the theater, and I was ready to leave the place and to leave the world of ballet. But I was scared. I only knew the theatrical world. I didn't know what else to do, so I stayed. Art has many faces, and in those years I only saw boredom and no inspiration. But then light came. An American wave of teachers came to Royal Danish as I turned 16, and something happened. Holly Dorger, Royal Danish Ballet prima ballerina. Thank you so much, Holly. What you just saw here was the sort of step we would get from this one teacher, Colleen Neary, who joined us from New York City Ballet in the 1990s. She simply would give us sleepy teenagers a kick of adrenaline. She stood there, just like Holly did, and by showing us how it should be done, she brought us from one level to the next. She also made us girls realize that the point shoe and the foot should melt together, not just being a shoe added for a few steps. Especially the last step that you saw, Holly did, I will demonstrate. It's a pirouette from fourth into attitude, which looks like this. Became a step that I needed to learn before I turned 17. It was just a goal for me. I think I managed. But this thing was that Colleen sped up the tempo in the company so that the older generation had a harder time living up to the demands. And we, the young ones, were suddenly needed for the repertoire and became an essential part of the ballet company. There are very few teachers who can say they influenced a whole generation, but Colleen Neary did, simply because she forced us to make the conscious choice of becoming dancers. It is nerve-wracking for a young person to exclude other hobbies or possibilities in life, but the fact is, you cannot divide your energies if you pursue a career as a dancer. Again, in order to succeed, you have to realize there's only this one way. Maybe this is a fact for a lot of people, but the choice just comes very early when you're a dancer. After this awakening, I had to hurry. I had already wasted 3 years being doubtful. And what I want to say is that maybe it's good to have dark years, because now the light seemed even brighter. Something had clicked. I have spoken to other professional dancers about the time when it clicked for them, and it's a special situation or performance when you realize this is my home, this is my destiny, this is where I should put all my efforts. Unfortunately, just 1 year after I committed completely to ballet, I got a serious injury in my big toe. A doctor said, you might not be able to dance on that level again. And the Danish insurance company told me that a big toe only represents 2% damages in compensation. This is not a happy message for someone just committed to an art form when you stand the whole day on point. My big toe meant more to me than that. I had already tasted what dance could mean to me, and I had chosen. So I worked like a maniac to get that toe strong again. I do get touched by remembering how it felt, what I was like working. And after 1.5 years, I was back. I couldn't, though, wear the high heel shoes in my private life, and this was rather devastating for a young girl. The pressure like this was not good after a full day on point. It is a tough business to stay in, but I sensed if I could influence the ballet world with my personality, it would be worth the whole thing. The art, the nerve, the fire, whatever you call it, the artistic tension, the thing I had already felt as a child in Nutcracker became the essence of my work. But I couldn't always count on this essence being strong, so this is where discipline comes in. Through daily training and repetition, you got something to rely on when I was not on top of things with my inner spirit. Also, through training 6 days a week gives you the technical level, which means more freedom to express yourself. I also learned the trick of always thinking of the next step. So while I was performing one step, I was thinking of the next. All this is good, but if the technique becomes too obvious, it can seem like an empty shell of presentation, and that's not the point. The point is to express something deeper. The best dancers I have seen have led me into their soul and danced in a way that I never wanted them to end again. They formed an invisible bridge to the audience and made them feel as you could dance yourself. A great dancer leaves her personality open for the audience to see inside, to see the pain, the suffering, or the happiness, and all the emotions that might be too much for the individual to carry in your daily lives. But in a performance, the viewer is allowed to sit still and open to your inner world without being judged. The edge of movement is when you start communicating. My goal was to create a person on stage that you, the audience, could identify yourself with and then be that person on stage. Let me give you an example. So you all lift your arms sometimes. Taxi. In ballet, we do it like this. The second time, I just included a very happy memory, a happy childhood memory. And if I include it into a step, it looks something like this. Let's say I'm a different character who has a hard time saying goodbye and lift my arm like this. And if the person that I'm waving to is not even waving back, I feel something like this. Let's lift the arm in a different way. I am now proud and temperamental. Maybe an evil fairy from Sleeping Beauty who has not been invited, and I'm cursing the queen and king for not inviting me. And I'm doing the period from before. So we humans have the ability to show how we feel without using words. We also have the ability to understand how other people feel very quickly. Ballet can be a refined version of what you all know and use every day. Ballet expresses everything between the words. Words are only labels to what happens inside and between people. Whereas visual art in general can compress all senses and form a full picture. What you see and hear is forming a quick message, and if a performance is synchronized, you will experience harmony. By showing my emotions throughout my life like this, I also feel that I fulfilled my task in life. I hope you sit back and think and realize the brilliance of nonverbal language, and think next time you move without or share your feelings without using words that you're dancing too.